The meeting is being live streamed.
I really just as well start streaming on Facebook.
Oh yes, it's all silent, right? So it's not going to ring. Yeah.
Well, I'm aiming to do it. I think it works about right. I start Zoom about 10 to, because then we can chat to anybody who's there. And Facebook about 9 to. Sorry. I'll do it. Can you pull the kitchen door to come through it? Well, you're usually up to about 8 or 10 on Zoom.
Good morning, Michael. Shabbat Shalom.
Morning, thank you.
Morning, Peter. You come back for more. You glutton for punishment.
Good morning. Yes, I'm here again. Checking up on you.
If I could remind you to mute yourselves, please, on Zoom. We won't get any feedback. Thank you. Good morning, Alan. Shabbat Shalom.
Morning, I think. That's better, I can hear you now.
Great, that's fantastic. If you could pop yourself onto mute before we start the service, that would be fantastic. Thank you. Morning, come in. Shabbat Shalom. I think it's 11 o'clock. Yep, I think we'll start. So, good morning, everyone out there in the virtual world and the real world. It's Shabbat morning. We've got a lovely service today. Hope you join us in when you can. Read responsively when you see the words in italics. If you have got a mobile phone with you and you're in the congregation, if you can make sure it's on silent, that would be lovely. And we're going to start today. So my name is Stacey Shirley and I'm leading the service today alongside Tina Shaw. And we are going to start on page 122 with Shabbat morning service number 4. Please rise. Ma tovu, ma tovu, ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov. Mishknotecha Yisrael, Mishnotecha Yisrael, Bani Baruch Hastecha, Avo Beitecha, Eshtachave, El Heichal Kodshecha, Be'yiratecha, El Heichal Kodshecha, Be'yiratecha. Adonai ahavti me'on beitecha, u'makom mishkan kavodecha, va'ani eshtachave v'echra evracha lifnei Adonai Osi. Vani tefilati lecha Adonai et ratzon Elohim b'ram chastecha aneni be'emet Yishecha. Please be seated. We're continuing on page 122. Eternal God, we come before you surrounded by members of our community. With them we share our happiness and it becomes greater, our troubles and they become smaller. May we never be too mean to give, nor too proud to receive, for in giving and receiving we discover you and begin to understand the meaning of life. Let us not separate ourselves from the true strength of our community, the experience and wisdom of old people, the hopes of the young, and the examples of care and courage which sustain us. Give us an open mind and a generous heart to welcome those who need us and to admit your presence into our daily life. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Oseh Yisrael bigvura. We turn over the page to 124. Baruch sha'amar v'haya ha'olam baruch hu. Praise be the one at whose command the world came to be. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, mechulal b'fi amo, meshubah u'mafo'ar, bilshon hasidav va'avadav, bishvachot u'vizmirot, negadelecha u'nalamilecha, malkeinu yachid chei ha'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, melech mehulal b'tishbachot. At dawn and dusk I seek you, reach out and look to you. With soul athirst I yearn for you. I am a beggar at your door. The galaxies cannot contain you, yet you dwell in my inmost being. I hold your glory in my heart. My love for you exceeds my speech. So I will praise your name, Eternal One, as long as your breath of life remains within me. Praise be the Eternal One forever. Amen and amen. Praise be the eternal God, the God of Israel, who does wonderful things. Let God's glorious name be praised forever, and let the whole earth be filled with God's glory. Amen and amen. The soul of every living being shall praise your name, Eternal One, our God, and the spirit of all flesh shall acclaim your majesty forever. For everlasting to everlasting, you are God. And we'll continue on page 127 with Psalm 93. Please read responsibly with me. The Eternal One reigns in grandeur robed and girded with strength. The world stands firm, it shall not be moved. Your throne is established from of old, for you are everlasting. The oceans roar, eternal God. The thundering oceans roar. The thundering oceans rage. Yet mightier than the roaring waves, mightier than the breaking seas, you stand supreme on high. Sure are the proofs of your power, O God, and holiness adorns your houses forever. Please rise. Yishtabach Shimcha La'ad Malkeinu, Ha'el HaMelech HaGadol VaHaKadosh B'Shamayim U'Ba'aretz, Ki Lecha Na'eh Adonai Eloheinu, V'Elohei Avoteinu, Shir U'Shvacha, Hallel V'Zimra, Barachot V'Hadaot, Me'ata Ve'ad Olam. Baruch Atah Adonai, Habocheh B'Shirei Zimra. We continue on page 135 with the Shema. Baruch et Adonai Ha'amorah. Baruch Adonai Ha'amorah le'olam va'ed. Please be seated. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzei or uverei choshech, oshei shalom uverei et hakol, hama'ir la'aretz ladarim alecha, berachamim uvetuvo mechadesh b'chol yom tamid ma'asei v'reishit. Ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai, kulam b'chachma asita, mala'a ha'aretz kinyanecha. Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu al shavach ma'asei, yadecha va'al mo'orei or, she'asita yefarucha sela. Baruch atah Adonai, yotzei ha'ma'orot. Great is your love for us, eternal God, and abundant your compassion. Our ancestors trusted in you, and you taught them the laws of life. So be gracious to us and teach us. Incline our hearts to hear your words, to know and understand, to learn and teach, and with love to uphold the truths of your Torah. Enlighten us with your teaching, make us faithful to your commandments, and wholehearted in the love and awe of your name. For in love you summon us to serve you and proclaim your unity. We praise you, O God. In love you have called your people Israel to serve you. Please rise. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Va'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol mo'odecha. V'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha. V'shinamtam levanecha v'dibarta bam. V'shivtecha b'veitecha, u'velechtecha b'derech, u'v'shachbecha u'v'kumecha. U'cheshartam le'ot al yadecha, v'hayu le'totafot b'einei necha, u'chetavtam al mezuzot beitecha, u'visharecha. Please be seated. Leman tizkaru, v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'yitem kadoshim le'Elohechem, ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem le'Elohim, ani Adonai Elohechem. Amen. Good and beautiful and true, sound, established and enduring are these words now and forever. True it is, Eternal One, that you are our sovereign God and Redeemer, as you were the God and Redeemer of our ancestors. You are our Maker, the rock of our salvation. We have known you always as our helper and our liberator. There is no God but you. Truly, you are first and you are last. We have no Redeemer but you. You redeemed us from Egypt and freed us from the hand of bondage. Then, with great joy, Moses, Miriam, and all Israel together sang to you this song. Micha mocha belim Adonai, micha mocha nektar שבחו גולים לשמך שפת הים יחד כולם הודו והמלכו ויאמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. צור ישראל קומה בעזרת ישראל גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו קדוש ישראל ברוך אתה אדוני גואל ישראל גואל ישראל Amen. And over the page, please rise for the Amidah. Na 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 Adonai Ya na 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 Sfatai Tiftach Na 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 Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha Na 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 Adonai Ya na 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 Sfatai Tiftach Na 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 Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'Imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el, Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot ve'Imahot, V'Meivi Geula Livnei v'Neihem, Lama'an Shemo B'Yachava, Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch Ata Adonai, Mazhin Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Ata gibor le'olam Adonai. Machayei metim ata rav lehoshia. Mashiv haruach u'morid hageshem. Mazriach hashemesh u'morid batal. Mechakel chayim b'chesed. Umekayem emunato lishenei afa mi chamocha bar gevurot umidom elo V'ne'eman atal hachayot metim, Baruch ata Adonai, mechayei hametim. Nekadesh et shimcha ba'olam, kishem shemakdishim oto b'shmei marom, kakatuv al yad nuvi echa. Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzavot, Meloch ol haaretz kavodo. כבודו מלא עולם. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומך מלכנו, תופיע ותמלוך עלינו, כי מחכים אנחנו לך. ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון לדור ודור. הללויה, הללויה, הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. בשבחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. Please be seated. You inspired our ancestors to hallow this day for your service. When upon its coming, we pause to contemplate our life, we learn anew that we do not live by bread alone, but also by the spiritual nourishment we receive when we open ourselves to your influence. We thank you for the Sabbath day and for the opportunity it offers to enhance the quality of our lives. We thank you for its joy and for its peace. May our worship help us take into our hearts its message of holiness and consecrate all our days by devotion to what is true, beautiful, and good. Yismachu b'malchutcha, Yismachu b'malchutcha, Shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg, Amekatshei Shvi'i, Amekatshei Shvi'i, Kulam Yisba'u v'yitagu mituvecha. V'hashvil sitabo v'kidashto, v'hashvil sitabo v'kidashto, chemdat yamim oto karata, zecher l'maaseh v'reishit. Our God and God of our ancestors, may our rest on this day be pleasing in your sight. Sanctify us by your commandments and make us loyal to your teaching. Satisfy us with your goodness, gladden us with your salvation, and purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, Eternal One, let the holiness of your Sabbath enter our hearts, and may all Israel who hallow your name be exalted by its peace. We praise you, O God, for the holiness of the Sabbath. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu b'amcha Yisrael, u'tefilatam b'ahava tekabel, u'tehi l'ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadecha b'yir'ah na'avod. Modim anachnu lach, she'ata hu Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu le'olam va'ed. Tzur chayenu, magen yishenu, atahu ledor vador. Nodeh lecha u'nesapeh tehilatecha, al chayenu chamzurim biyadecha, v'al nichmotenu hapakudot lach, v'al nisecha shebachol yom imanu, v'al niflootecha v'tovotecha, shebachol et erev v'avoker v'saharayim. Baruch atah Adonai, Hatov Shimcha V'lecha Na'eh Lehodot. Grant peace, welfare, and blessing, grace, love, and mercy to us and to all Israel, your people. As a loving parent, bless us with the light of your presence, for by the light of your presence, eternal God, you have revealed to us the law of life, a love of kindness and righteousness, blessing and mercy, life and peace. For it is good in your sight that your people Israel and all peoples be blessed at all times with your gift of peace. We praise you, O God, the source of peace. We continue with a few moments of silence, either with the words on page 145 or reflections of your own about the past week and the week to come. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable to you, O God, my rock and my redeemer. Ose shalom bimromav, uyase shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol b'nei Adam. Tina?
Thank you, Stacey. So I'm taking the Torah service, which you'll find on page 481. Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai, v'ein kamaseh ha-malhut ha-malhut kol olamim, u'memshal v'hol ador v'ador. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai os ve'amo yitein, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Hallelujah, Adonai Tim, Unavoma Mashemo Yata. Lecha Adonai, Please be seated. Ya'amod Reuben Dan Ben Yosef L'Kriyat HaTorah.
Baruch et Adonai HaMavorach, Baruch Adonai HaMavorach, Le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah. Amen.
The Torah portion is from Deuteronomy chapter 1, verses 1 to 8. Eile hadavorim asher diber Moshe el kol Yisrael, ve'ever ha'yarden ve'eretz Moab, ho'il Moshe be'er et ha'Torah hazot lemor. Adonai Eloheinu diber eleinu, v'horev lemor rab lochem shevet b'chor hazeh. Penu usu lochem u'vo'u har ha'emori va'el kol shehenoch va'arva v'har u'vashpeloch u'negev u'v'hov hayom eretz ha'kanaani v'halofnon ad ha'nahar ha'gadol v'har Parot. Ra'ei notati lefanechem et haaretz, v'u'shu et haaretz, asher nishbach Adonai la'avotehem, la'Avraham, la'Yitzhak, la'Yaakov, notate lahem ulazarham ha'erehem. These are the words that Moses spoke to all Israel beyond the Jordan in the land of Moab. Moses undertook to explain this law, saying, "The Eternal One our God said to us in Horeb, 'You have stayed long enough at this mountain. Turn and take up your journey and go to the hill country of the Amorites, to all their neighbours in the Arabah, in the hill country and in the lowland, and in the Negev and by the sea coast, the land of the Canaanites and Lebanon, as far as the great river, the river Euphrates. See, I have set the land before you. Go in and take possession of the land that the Eternal One swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give to them and to their offspring after them.'"
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah temet, v'chayei olam nata betocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. Baruch shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato.
The Haftorah, please be seated, thank you. The Haftorah is next and will be read by Roz.
The Haftorah portion today is from Kings 8, verses 54 to 61. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'sekach b'divrei Torah. When Solomon had finished all these prayers and supplications to the Eternal One, he rose from before the altar of the Eternal One, where he had been kneeling with his hands spread out towards heaven. He stood and blessed the whole assembly of Israel in a loud voice, saying, "Praise be to the Eternal One, who has given rest to the people Israel, just as promised. Not one word has failed of all the good promises given through Moses. May the Eternal One, our God, be with us as with our ancestors, never leaving us nor forsaking us. May our hearts be turned to God, to walk in obedience to God and keep the commands, decrees, and laws given to our ancestors. And may these words of mine, which I have prayed before the Eternal One, be near to the Eternal One, our God, day and night, that my cause and the cause of the people Israel may be upheld according to each day's need, so that all the peoples of the earth may know that the Eternal One is God and that there is no other. And may your hearts be fully committed to the Eternal One, our God, to live by the decrees and obey the commands of the Almighty, as at this time." Al HaTorah v'al ha'avadal v'al ha'navi'im v'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha v'limnucha lekavod u'letaferet al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lo v'ne'emarim atach yitbarach shimcha b'fi kol chai tamid li'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Makadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. Thank you, Roz. Eternal God, whose dominion embraces the universe, we ask your blessing to our Sovereign Lady Queen Elizabeth and all the royal family. For those who govern our country and all who influence the quality of its national life, make them conscious of their responsibility and teach them to exercise this in accordance with your will. May we all help to fashion in this country a society that excels in freedom and justice, tolerance and compassion, so that it may be a force for righteousness and peace in the life of humanity. Eternal God, as you blessed our ancestors in generations past, bless now this congregation, its leaders and its members, and all who enter this synagogue to meet, to study and to pray. Comfort the sorrowing hearts among us and heal those in anxiety or pain. May we all find here community and friendship, renewal of purpose and hope, a deeper understanding of our heritage and a sense of your abiding presence. Bless all congregations of the House of Israel throughout the world. Let those who live under oppressive rule soon be freed, and may we all unite to witness to your truth and do your will. Eternal God, our rock and redeemer, grant blessing to the state of Israel, created to fulfill an age-old dream and to be a haven for the oppressed. Inspire its leaders and citizens with faithfulness to the aims of its founders, to develop the land for the benefit of all its inhabitants, and to implement the prophetic ideals of liberty and justice. May they live in harmony with one another and in peace with their neighbours, and cause to come true once more the ancient vision that out of Zion shall go forth Torah and the word of God from Jerusalem. Yeah, hallelujah, Shema Adonai, Ki Nizgad Shemo Levado, Hodu Eretz v'shamayim, v'yadem kerem v'yavo, tehila l'cho chasida, livnei Yisrael amkol. Hallelujah, hallelujah. And over the page on page 488. God's teaching is perfect, reviving the soul. God's word is unfailing,
Making wise the simple.
God's precepts are right,
Enlightening the mind.
God's commandments are clear,
Enlightening the eyes.
God's doctrine is pure,
Enduring forever.
God's guidance is true, and altogether just. Behold, good doctrine has been given you, do not forsake it. It is a tree of life to those who hold it fast, and all who cling to it find happiness. Its ways are ways of pleasantness, and all its paths are peace. Ki lekato
Tati lachem, Torati otazovu, et haini amazikimba. Timotecha, Shalom, Oshivenu, Adonai Elecha, Benashuva, Kadesh Yameinu, Kekeden, Kadesh Yameinu, Kekeden.
I'm just going to say a few words. It's not really a sermon, but just a few words that I've put together for today. I didn't find anything in the Torah portion that really made me feel I wanted to expand on that. So I'm just going to, as I say, put a few words together. Today is my father's birthday. Well, it would have been if he was still alive. He was born in 1902, so he would be 119 years old, which is hard to imagine, and probably not an age many of us would aspire to. I often think about the changes he would have seen in his life, not just the bigger things like the increase in motorised traffic or the improvement in the telephone system, but the less obvious social changes, like the way people dressed more casually and the greater informality of manners and speech. He died in 1960 when I was about to go into the upper sixth, year 13 for any youngsters listening in. I never knew him from an adult perspective and consequently never got round to asking him some of the many questions I would like to ask him now. I don't even know if he was ever bar mitzvah, since it would have been in the middle of the First World War. He certainly wasn't religious and never went to shul when I was growing up, but he followed in his family tradition of voluntary work for Jewish charities. I'm always reminded of him when we read one of the meditations before Kaddish. The growing good of the world is partly dependent on unhistoric acts, and that things are not so ill with you and me as they might have been is half owing to the number who lived faithfully a hidden life and rest in unvisited tombs. There's so much going on in the world that is hard to read about or to listen to on the news. It can leave us feeling helpless and hopeless at the terrible plight of others. But there are things we can do. This shul is collecting things for the Afghanistan refugees. There's a box outside, and I think there'll be a box at High Holy Days if people want to bring something. We're collecting new packaged underwear, and that will obviously be something that would be helpful and will be distributed in due course. Nothing else, please, but that would be very helpful if anybody's able to help with that. And I noticed there are already a couple of packages outside in the shul. Small acts of charity, both in emotional and material ways, can make a difference to people's lives. A smile, a phone call, signing a petition, those unhistoric acts can add up to making life a little better for someone and are always worth doing. So we are looking forward to welcoming our new rabbi next Shabbat. No doubt there will be changes both to our services and to the many activities which are part of this functioning congregation. Let us look forward with hope and make the most of the opportunities that come our way. Amen. So we're going to continue with the service now on page 520 with the Aleinu, if you would please stand. Aleinu l'shabel ha'adon ha'kol, la'teit gedul al yotzei bereshit, asher sam helkeinu l'yachir et shemo, v'gor aleinu yamlich malhuto, v'anachnu korim, v'rishonim modim, lifnei melech malhei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, shehu netei shamayim v'yoset haaretz, u'masher v'koral b'shamayim mima'al, u'shchina tuzo, v'govrei mo'amim, hu Eloheinu einod, emet malkeinu efes ulato, Kakatuv b'torato, ve'yadata hayam, ve'ashivota elavovecha, ki Adonai hu Elohim, b'shamayim mima'al, v'al haaretz, mitachat ein od. Trusting in you, eternal God, we hope soon to behold the glory of your might, when false gods will vanish from our hearts and idolatry cease forever. Help us to perfect the world by bringing it under your unchallenged rule, when all will invoke your name, relinquish evil, and turn to you alone. May all who dwell on earth come to know that to you every knee must bend, every tongue swear loyalty. Before you let them humble themselves, and to your glorious name let them give honor. Let all submit to your sovereign rule, and that time come soon and last forever. For ultimate sovereignty is yours, and to all eternity you will reign in glory. As it is written, the Eternal One shall reign forever. And it has been said, the Eternal God shall rule over all the earth, and on that day the Eternal God shall be one, and known to be one. V'ne'emar, v'haya Adonai l'melech, al kol haaretz, v'yom hahu, yihyeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. The growing good of the world is partly dependent on unhistoric acts. and that things are not so ill with you and me as they might have been, is half owing to the number who lived faithfully a hidden life and rest in unvisited tombs. Even when they are gone, the departed are with us. And on this Shabbat, we mentioned the name for the art site of Richard Glass Moshe, husband of Dina Glass. They inspire us to live as in their higher moments they themselves sought to live. We remember them now. They remain in our hearts. They are a continual blessing. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah v'yalma divrad hirute v'yamlich malhute v'yeme hol v'hayet dehol Beit Yisrael v'agalal v'zman kariv v'imeru amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mirah le'olam olmei olmaya Yit bara v'yishtaba v'yit pa'ar v'yit humam v'yit naseh V'yit adal v'yit alei v'yit aleo Shemei dirchana berechu Le'olam min kol b'riata v'shirata Tushbarata v'nechemata V'yamna v'imru amen Yehei shalaba rabba min shemaya V'hayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael V'imru amen O say shalom b'momav Huya say shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol b'nei Adam v'imru amen. Please be seated. We're going to sing Adon Alom. So Adon Alom Hashem Allah B'terem kol Yitzir Nifra Le'et Nasom V'hefza kol Azai Mele Shemoni Ga Ve'ahare Kilot HaKol Levado Imloch Nora V'hu Haya V'hu Hove V'hu Yeh B'tifara V'hu Echad V'ein Sheni Laham Shilo Lahabira Bali Reshi Bali Takli Balo Haz V'ham Isra V'hu Eli B'hai Gali V'tzu Hefli B'ein Sorah Bahunisi umanosli banot kosi bayomega bayodo afkiruhi baesishon v'yohira v'imruhi gafioti Adonai livalo ira. Please stand for the concluding benediction. Baruch atah ba'echoch u'baruch atah b'tzeitechoch. Blessed may you be when you come in, and blessed may you be when you go out. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shalom. Next week is a bar mitzvah, and I think we have our new rabbi here. I believe that there's expected to be quite a lot of people, and you're asked to let the office know if you're coming, but obviously you're very welcome. And if people on Zoom wanted to unmute themselves, that's fine. We'll just be doing Kiddush on page 566.
Israel, et Shabbat, Levotam V'Torah,
Adoratam V'Olam, V'Elohim V'Bnei Yisrael,
Adonai, et Hashem, Ha'aretz,
Shalom. Maria Hakafen. Fine. Amen. Shabbat shalom.
Shalom, everyone. Shabbat shalom. Thank you, team.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Stacey.
Thank you.
Thanks to the whole team.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Shabbat shalom.